Hello, it's maths time, guys. You should have completed the farm counting sheet today. How are you getting on with those? Are you making sure your numbers are around the right way? Are you counting correctly? If you're making lots of mistakes, just put a little dot or a line on each one as you count it, and rather than going go along the line. So count along there and then count along underneath. Okay, and pop your total in the circle there. If you haven't done that, you can press pause and go and do it now. Today on our plan, we are going to draw something. Let's look at the whiteboard. Okay, so we're learning about time this week. We've learnt about days of the week. Let's try that practice game one more time. You start this time. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Excellent. And our months of the year, can you remember them? January, February, March and April. January, February, March and April. January, February, March and April. May, June, July. August, September and October. August, September and October. August, September and October. November, December. And they go around this way. Which way is that? What's that called again? Clockwise. Who remembers clockwise? I heard you. Good job. So if we're learning about time, our next job is to draw a clock. Yesterday you were looking at daytime and night time, and we were talking about what time do we go to bed, what time do we get up. Sometimes if I say to my mummy, what time do I need to go to bed, she might say 7:30. And I say 7:30, and she said yes, 7:30. And then I say, Dad, what time do I have to go to bed? And he says 7:30. And I say, but Mum just said 7:30, and now you're saying 7:30. Sometimes 7:30 means the same as 7:30. It's really confusing. Sometimes I say, Mum, can you help me with my homework? And she says, in a minute. And I say, okay. And then sometimes I say, Dad, how long until we get there? And he says, 1 hour. To my brother, how long can I play with your toys for? And he says, 2 seconds. Seconds, minutes, hours, it's all very confusing. We're going to start by having a look at drawing a clock. Watch me draw a clock, follow my instructions. Okay, first draw a face, okay? Two eyes, a nose, smiley face, some teeth, ears, some hair. Draw a face and some hands. How about legs, arms, a neck, a face and hands. And you have your clock. I've done something wrong because that does not look like a clock. Okay, let's rewind. Oh, I didn't quite read correctly. So this is a clock. The round bit with the numbers on is called a clock face. So clocks have something called a face. That's where I got confused. So the clock face, so a round circle. These bits, they're called hands. Oh, no wonder I got it wrong. So this is a face, and these are clock hands. So confusing. Okay, we have got to draw. We've got to put the numbers on our clock. There's one at the top, one at the bottom, here and one here. And then, so one at the top, one at the bottom. That's like from the ceiling to the floor, from the window to the door. And then in between them, 2 more circles. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No, Tricky, it's not pizza. He thinks it's pizza. No, Tricky, it's not a cake with cherries on top. Okay, and the number. What's that number that's always on top of the clock? Pardon? You know that when we do maths, the number that's on it, if you ask me how to write it and I say top of the clock, what's that number? 12. 12. Like that. Thanks. So 12 always goes at the top. Okay, at the bottom is always number 6. Do you know why? Because number 6 sits on his bottom all day long at the bottom of the clock. 12 is always top of the clock and 6 is always on his bottom at the bottom of the clock. So we know that. When we write our numbers, this is the first number we write on. So we start with number 1 and we go round, you've got it, clockwise. So 12 at the top, check. 6 at the bottom, check. Then we start here with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 is always at the top. Number 6 on his lazy bottom. And then we start next to number 12. We don't start that side and go round this way because that's not clockwise. Clockwise is always round this way. Here's a clock. This is the clock that we look at. Do you remember when we have our home clock? So there's no plastic on the front. So these are the hands. There's a short one there, isn't there? And a long one. That's strange that one is long and one is short. One points to the numbers but it doesn't touch them. And then this one, can you see, tries to hide the numbers. How strange. What you're going to do today is you're going to make your own clock. Now, someone said that you cannot do this. And I said, I think you can. And they said, no, they're just in reception. They'll just put the numbers in the wrong order. And I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, they won't, because the children in reception know that 12 goes at the top. They know that 6 goes at the bottom. And they know that they start with 1 next to number 12 and they go round clockwise. They know that. You know that. Okay, let's have a look at your work then. So you're going to need this one first. That's the clock, the round circle, the clock elbow? No. The clock nose. The clock eyeball? The clock face. The clock face. That's the clock face. The numbers are all missing, so we'll need those. Here are the numbers. My brother's put them all in the wrong order and taken them from the clock. He must have pressed something on the print button. So you'll need to cut out the clock face. Then you'll need to cut out the numbers. Number 12, goes at the top of the clock. And then there's number 6. He's even got a line underneath his bottom. So you know that number 6 goes right at the bottom of the clock. And then you've got the numbers in between there, so you need to cut them out. That's going to be hard, but very good practice for your cutting, to cut round in a circle. Just take your time and slow down and be careful. These bits here are the bits here. The legs, the fingers. No. The these bits are the hands. So these must be the hands. Again, carefully cut round them. There's one that's short and one that's long. When that's cut out, you need to, before you stick your numbers on, you need one of these. It's a split pin. Do you remember we've used these before? You need to be a bit careful with them. So you poke them through the paper, so you poke them through the hands of the clock and through the clock itself, and then on the other side, that's when you splay out the bits at the back. That will keep it in place, but you'll still be able to move your hands around the clock. You can get an adult to help you with that if you're a bit nervous about using them, or perhaps if you put a bit of Play-Doh or blue tack as you're pushing it through. So that's your split pin. Then your numbers will need to go on the clock. Sorry about my brother doing that. You would have had your own clocks, but now you're going to need to make them yourselves. So top of the clock is 12. Top of the clock is 12. Bottom, if you're not sure which one the bottom is it here or here or here? Put your number 12 on and then go straight down as if you're cutting a cake. And number 6 will be right below it. And put your pencil like that. If I go like that, it doesn't cover up the dot. But if I do that and hide the dot, I know which one is directly opposite. So 12 at the top, 6 here. Then clockwise, filling the other numbers in. So clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 will already be there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 should already be there. And you're back to the beginning, a bit like the life cycle of a frog. A clockwise cycle on a clock. This little hole here is where you poke the split pin through to put your hands on there. And then you can play and change the time. Do you think you can do that work? Some people think you can't, but I think you can. If you want to, you can decorate your clock. You might try and do your numbers a different colour if you wanted to. You might do bedtime and colour it in blue. Is it 7 o'clock? Find out what time your bedtime is and perhaps colour that in. Some people think you can't do it, but I think you can. Rule 1, 12 at the top of the clock. Rule 2, 6 directly below at the bottom of the clock. Then starting from number 1 and go clockwise. Can you show me clockwise? Well done. Good luck with that. See you tomorrow. What mask shall I wear?